Press was restricted to the center of town. Little did I know that in the near suburbs, the ethnic cleansing campaign had begun. The town of Divić was the first to be cleansed. And it was there that Dušan's bloody trail began.
Oni su u Divić ušli 27. aprila, dakle dan I po negdje po bombardovanju.
Serbian forces entered Divić on the 27th of April with tanks and with infantry.
I tu noć su sve ljude isterali iz kuća I odveli prema hotelu Vidikovac, što on poznaje.
And on that very night they forced all people out of their houses and to go in the direction of the Vidikovac hotel.
They thought there weren't that many of us, but when they realized that there were so many people, they wanted to kill us all. When the mass of people and children started to move, they called their command in Serbia. They received orders to send us back to the village.
Na 2 dana prije evakuacije,
2 days before the deportation, a military unit arrived. People saw them coming out of a van across the lake. As they approached, they screamed, "Kill them," and cut their throats. For the next 2 or 3 hours, there was so much shooting, it's hard to imagine. That same morning, Commander Marko Pavlović came with evacuation papers and told us that we were not safe there anymore. He told us we had to go to another place, that he wanted to protect us. Supposedly, we were going to Orlovo, so we could be exchanged with Serbs from Orlovo.
At that time, did you think about the concept of ethnic cleansing?
No, I wasn't familiar with the concept. To the contrary, we asked them not to move us. We even offered to accept Serb refugees into our own houses. A room for them, a room for us. We could have shared everything as brothers and sisters like we used to live before. But that didn't help. We were completely disoriented. The thought of moving and abandoning our homes and birthplaces was overwhelming.
At this Zvornik bus station, soldiers in camouflage uniforms came out of buses and started shooting in the air. They said that all the men had to leave the buses and the women and children had to stay.
The screams are horrible. You know how it is when women and children start screaming. People were so confused they didn't know where to go. The soldiers started shooting at their feet, scaring them to make them go back into the buses. The women and children kept screaming. One mother had to say goodbye to her 15-year-old son. She was screaming and then she fainted. These kinds of scenes cannot be described. There were moments when life became totally worthless.
We all had to go into a soccer stadium. We were held in the stands while they were down on the fields carrying submachine guns. Guards covered each entrance. Then they started to round up all the men over 60. You could still hear the screams of the women and children in the distance. They took the old men to one entrance. We didn't know what they were going to do with them. When the old men were gone, that's when I thought, they are going to kill us. Then one of the soldiers told us, "Don't be afraid, nothing will happen to you."
A large number of Muslims got organized and realized they couldn't stay here any longer, especially after people from central Bosnia started coming in. They left voluntarily since they themselves understood that this had become the natural course of events. In most cases, what we did was to help them organize transportation and other practical things needed to facilitate their move to Muslim territory.
Yet people say that there are a lot of Muslims who were killed and that ethnic cleansing was going on.
All that is completely made up. We actually have thank you letters from people in Tuzla, Zenica, and even Germany, thanking us for allowing them to go in a civilized and gracious manner. All this is made up. There's no trace of truth in these allegations.
On the 29th of May, they took us in 3 buses to the nearby village of Čelopek.
U Čelopek smo prebačeni autobusima njihovim. 3 su autobusa bila Drigna Fransa.
Then we were incarcerated in the village cultural center.
There were several beds that had probably been used by the reserve army. There was a stage with some loose planks, and under it we found someone's personal documents. A driver's license and so on. They must have belonged to a Muslim. Clearly, people had been there before us. There were traces of blood on the wall, along with bullet holes.
What went through your head when you saw all of that?
We realized that there was no way out, and that a horrible destiny awaited us.
The next day after midnight, we heard a horrible scream. A man jumped on the window and grabbed the iron bars. He screamed, "Wait till dawn, we will see each other in the morning." He wanted to get in, but the guards wouldn't let him. He had a beard, a Chetnik hat, and his hair was in a ponytail.
Is this the man?
Yes. Judging from his face, his lips, eyes, and nose, that's the man.
His first victim was 16 years old, Damir Bikic. He approached while we were all standing in a group and asked for his father. Damir's father said, "This is my child." Then he was asked if he had more children, and the father answered, "No." Then Dushan said, "So you won't have this one either." Then he turned to the boy, put his small caliber gun in his mouth, and shot him. This was his first victim.
He pulled Mustafa Shaban from among us. He drew a cross on his forehead with his knife and said, "From now on, you're Shaban Šalić," like the folk singer.
Nemoj da mi brišeš suze samo ti, pusti noćas neka liju moja ljubavi.
He had two knives, one dull and one sharp. With the dull knife, he drew a cross on his forehead.